So for this first video, I just wanted to keep it super simple and just look at one specific ball screen action that we went to a lot with my time at Portland State, and just how we utilized it to attack aggressive ball screen coverages specifically, and how our players made different reads out of it, and how we manipulated the action with little tweaks and wrinkles, and try to keep defense on their toes. So the action itself, you'll see, is just a ram screen paired with an exit screen while the ball screen's happening. Probably one of the more commonplace actions in college basketball nowadays, and but it worked really well for us. And you'll see I got 5 clips here, and it kind of just shows different ways we utilized it when attacking aggressive coverage. So the first clip you'll see is just, we'll call it the base action, the simplest form of it. And all we're trying to do on offense is create advantages. And so essentially, when you're facing an aggressive coverage, if they're going to, if the defense is going to allow you to play 4-on-3, and that's what we're trying to do. So we're not trying to do anything fancy here. Just hopefully make the right reads and take the advantage that's given to us by the defense. So you'll see the action starts here. 3 is going to set the ram screen, and he's going to come off the exit screen to this corner off of 4, off the exit screen, and 23 is going to set the ball screen for 5, and that's the action. So they do a really good job of this. Obviously, you'll see this is super, super aggressive coverage, and we kind of knew this was coming. This was in the second half. So 5 makes a great read at 23 here, and we're playing 4-on-3, which is what we're, all we're hoping for anyway when you're on offense. So 23 does a good job making a good read, attacking the help, and draws a foul. So that's the simplest form of the action, and I think that kind of gives you an idea of where we're going with this video. So the next part is just to read our players made as they got better at it, and just rejecting the screen. So obviously, if you can, reject the screen and attack a defense that it's not expecting you to attack, then that's great. So 5 does a really good job here. You'll see our timing's not great on this possession, but we do a good job. 5 does a really good job of setting up the screen and forcing our on-ball defender here to jump over, and he's going to create the advantage. He's going to pull the big right here. As you see, boom, perfect. 32 is a really good job rolling, getting behind his defender here, and we're making a great read out of it over the top. So one little wrinkle you can do out of it, I guess, more specifically, your player's making a read, so just rejected the screen, nothing fancy. But was effective in a lot of situations for us, especially when you're attacking a corner, a single side corner. So most of your defenders are on this side, so it works for us. But in this possession, so next one here is just a little wrinkle we did as the year went on. Kind of nothing fancy here, but you'll see we have our 2 offensive players on this side of the floor now. So you can't really tell, but there's no one in this corner. But we've emptied the corner, and it was a little wrinkle we did to help clear more space for 23 right here, as you'll see. So technically no exit screen on this one, but it's the same principle. He's still exiting to the strong side that 5's dribbling to. So, it's the same action in a sense, just a little wrinkle we threw here to get our guy here, 23, in some space, and he can shoot the ball a little bit, so that helps. So as you'll see, I guess taking a step back, he does a really good job of setting the screen up with a twist. So our on-ball defender here does not know which way the screen's coming. And so Jalen does Jalen here does a really good job getting downhill. So we kind of beat the action before it happens anyway. But nonetheless, still a good example of this wrinkle. And so Jalen gets downhill, skips it over to 23, and we're in a long closeout situation, which is what we were trying to do from the first place. And then you'll see our defender here is closing out super, super hard because 23 has made a couple threes this game. So he attacks his closeout well, makes a great read, pulls 3, 4, almost 4 to the ball, and makes a good read. So little wrinkle we did throughout the year, and it was effective for us, especially when we wanted to get 23 here in some space. So next part of the, I guess, wrinkle we'll say is just layering it with the get action. And so, whenever you're going to ask 2 on-ball or ball screen defenders to guard 2 actions in a row, you're asking a lot of those 2 guys. And so really good job in this clip of doing that. So you'll see 5's going to come off this screen, and our ball screen defender here does a good job of staying put, doesn't really necessarily commit as hard as he had in the past or previous possessions. So 5 does a really good job of hitting 23 here and coming off the get action, which will get him downhill. And so you're asking a lot of these 2 defenders if you're going to have to guard a ball screen plus any, the subsequent get action. So as you can see right here, it's pretty effective and gets 5 downhill, which is what we're hoping for. So we like that one a lot. And then this one, the last clip we've got here is very similar to the first one. Is more of just the base action, we'll call it. I just wanted to kind of highlight how when you have somebody like a lob threat big, number 4 here, as you'll see, and how his positioning can leverage your rim pressure and put defenses in a tough spot, especially when doing it with this action. If teams are going to guard, especially if they're going to guard this high on the floor. So we'll let the clip run, and kind of the same thing as the first clip, but you'll see they're in a super, super aggressive coverage, and 5's going to make a great read, get off the ball quick to 23. And this is a good example of showing how effective the exit screen was in this situation. So 7's going to get pulled all the way out here, anticipating this strong side kick. But 5, like I said, made a great read, got off of it 23 early. And then you're putting our man right here in a really tough spot, and a really tough 2-on-1 spot, especially when 4 here is as good of a lob threat as he was. So dude does a good job playing 2-on-1 here. Opposite of the first clip, instead of taking it himself to the basket, he passes it. So you'll see just different ways that you can leverage this alignment, as well as reading how defenses react to it. So if you made it this far in the video, thanks for watching. Hopefully maybe you learned something, and if you didn't, at least I guess you got to watch some basketball. So yeah, thanks for watching.